Welcome everyone. It's good to see some familiar faces, some of whom I haven't seen much this summer, and other folks that are new faces. I look forward to getting to meet you today. Well, I don't know about you all, but I have a lot swirling around in my head right now. The summer seems to have disappeared overnight. The fall semester is just around the corner for me on Tulane's campus. I'm starting to grieve the fact that it won't be a return to normal teaching that I thought it might have been. And I've got a lot of people in my life that I'm worried might still get sick over the next couple of months. In these moments, I find it helpful to get out of my head by moving my attention to my breath and my body, by grounding myself in a historical perspective much longer than the last few months, and by deepening relationships and connecting to my community. So I hope we can do that together now as we start our session. So as I begin our land acknowledgement from Taylor, I'm hoping we can take a moment to take a few breaths, ground our bodies in our respective locations. Feel free to turn off your camera or keep it on. You can close your eyes, focus on something in the room if that feels good to you. Just do what you need to do. Taylor is hosting this gathering from land originally inhabited and traversed by over 40 native tribes who called it by the Choctaw name Bulbancha, a place of many tongues. We want to recognize the people who came before us and continue to call Bulbancha home. The federally recognized Chitimacha tribe, Coushatta tribe, the Jena Band of Choctaw Indians, the Chineka Biloxi tribe of Louisiana, as well as the state recognized Adeaikato tribe, the Biloxi Chitimacha Confederation, Choctaw Apache Community, Clifton Choctaw, Four Winds Tribe, Grand Cayuga Band, Ile de Jean Charles Band, Louisiana Choctaw Tribe, Pointe-au-Chien Indian Tribe, as well as the United Houma Nation, and the Atakapa Ishak Nation of Louisiana. Now, as folks start to join us back on Zoom, as you feel ready, we would love to recognize and acknowledge each of your respective locations in the chat. Please share them now if you are able to do so. Thank you. Feel free to keep those coming in. We honor the past, present, and future generations who steward this place and all of these places by considering our responsibility to the land and committing to the healing of ongoing harms from colonialism, racism, and environmental destruction. And now we'd like to take a moment to look at the beautiful faces on our screens and acknowledge our shared humanity and our gratitude for each other and for this space. So thank you for being you and for being in this moment together. My name is Rebecca Otten, or Becky. I'm a professor of practice and director of strategy and engagement at the Taylor Center at Tulane, and I support the team that puts together programming and events like this one. At Taylor, we support many different types of learners who want to build skills in design thinking and social innovation. This event is part of our DT Breakfast series, which is hopefully a casual, playful way to learn about and try on designerly approaches to creating social impact. Each month, we bring in a different guest speaker who shares a little bit about their work and their approach to design thinking for social impact. We also hope we're able to learn from the wealth of knowledge each of you are bringing into this space. And through the session, we hope to be deepening relationships and our collective capacity to do this work. So for folks that are new to this space, this is not going to be a lecture. We'll be engaging on Zoom and in the chat throughout the session. Many of us in the Central, Mountain, or West Coast time zones will likely be eating breakfast, sipping on our coffee or tea, and we encourage everyone to take care of themselves during this session. And before I hand it over to our Naisha Ford, who is our fearless graduate assistant who will be hosting today's session, I wanted all of us to give her a big round of applause for coordinating everything today. Thank you, Naisha. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Becky. So I'm Naisha Ford. I'm the graduate assistant of the Taylor Center. I've also been the co-host of the Design Thinking Breakfast series for quite a while now. So whoever's come to these a couple times, you're probably very familiar with my face. But that's just a short intro about me. I'm now going to introduce our guest, and then I'm going to let her take it away. So Lee Kim is our guest this morning. Lee is a designer, an engineer, a poet, and a community leader. Outside of her 9-to-5 job as a global Congress lead at Pfizer, she founded a community innovation lab, Design Dream Lab, where anyone with a giving heart can create an impact and dream of a better future. In 2020 and 2021, she co-created additional virtual communities, such as Design Thinking Zeal, HUG, which stands for Humans in Unbelievable Gatherings, Identity Lab, Mystery Sandbox, and Enchanted Playground, all aiming to bring more human connection to the world that is so isolating. Lee loves building and fostering creativity through everyday experiences and finds joy in connecting dots with other fun-loving and joyful human beings. She also loves to make stuff up. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to her. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So that was all lie. I all made that up. Thank you, Naisha, Becky, and Leslie Ann. So good to see you. I came to this breakfast before, and it was so delicious, and so happy to be back and actually offer my breakfast to you. So I'm going to share my screen, and let me know if you can see it, and only the slide itself. Can you see it?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, the slide itself, not the next slide, right?
Yes.
So welcome to Soul Garden. When Naisha reached out and asked me to kind of craft 35-minute or 45 minutes to 50 minutes of a session, I thought about New Orleans. And I've been to New Orleans, and I thought about what would it be if I were to design something for a place like New Orleans. And I thought soul, soul food, soul music. And I thought, I love gardening, so let's do some soul garden. So for this, you would need pen and paper. If you don't have it, go and grab. Um, Now we are gonna do something that my daughter and I have done, and I showed you a little bit beforehand, and it's called improv drawing. So we are going to create a story together, and at the same time, we are going to draw together. And I'm going to share with you how to do it, and you are going to actually use this skill later on. So this is an icebreaker, but it's also a skill that you're going to be using during the session. As I speak the story, I would like you to imagine what it is and draw it. And then at some point, I'll pass it along to someone else, and that person will continue the story. And then when it's a good point, that person will pass along. And maybe 3 or 4 people into it, I'll just ask, okay, that's good enough. So are we ready to go? Yeah, okay. So long time ago, there was an island. I wanted to draw. In the middle of the island, there was a volcano. One day, a big fish flew out of the volcano. And the fish said, Julia Wang, would you like to take it from there?
Why, hello, frog. What are you doing here up in the sky?
Rebecca, would you like to take it from there?
Well, I thought you were going to be here and I wanted to meet you. The frog replied.
Okay. So now I'm going to stop share and I would like to hold what I drew. And I would like everyone to hold what you drew. All right, great. Some volcanoes on the side of the island, some volcanoes are in the middle, some are flying. Great, thank you so much. So it looks like everybody understood the instruction, what to do. You know, one person tells a story and two people, this time there were 23 people doing it, but one person will tell the story at a time and both of us will draw the story forward. So this is called improv drawing. Now at this time, I would like Nisha to put people into the breakout room and you with a pair, if possible, and you will draw a story and it will start once upon a time. And you will just to kind of go off each other. And at 3 minutes time, you're gonna come back.
Okay, if nobody has any questions, I'm gonna open up the rooms.
Welcome back. All right. So does anyone wanna share their story? Or should I pick someone? It's like a classroom, right? Nobody wants to present. Rocky raised his hand, didn't he? Yeah.
Sure. All right. So Becky and I, we teamed up, and our story has to do with a baby chick. Yes, the baby chick grew so fast and soon outgrew her own pen. And
Can we see the drawing?
yeah, here's mine.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
she quickly outgrew her own pen, and she wanted a big bed, but the big bed wasn't big enough because the big bed didn't have mom and dad. So mom and dad, they made a big bed, a really big bed, but it was so big it didn't fit in their house, so they had to build it in the backyard.
Oh my God. Lucky, we only had 3 minutes. You build a bed and you build a backyard and mom and dad and
oh, but the chick was so impressed and loved his mom and dad so much that she's like, well, if you can build a big bed, can you also build things for me to play? So mom and dad built an entire play area so that the baby chick could bring her baby turtle and baby rabbit and other baby friends to come and play. So now the baby chick has everything that she ever asked for, and she's no longer crying, but is always finding new things to want. That is the baby chick story.
Thank you so much. I cannot believe you did that in 3 minutes. Applaud. Okay, thank you, Rocky. I'm going to go back to my slide. So let me know if you can see it. Can you see the slide? Long time ago, yeah? Okay, so we did this, and we did that. Now, here's my story. So that's me, Wonder smiling. I grew up in an island, south coast of South Korea called Jeju-do. And because the island was surrounded by the sea, as island would be, people in island depend a lot on nature, which meant nature and its power, or its destructive power, or power of growth meant a lot. So people believe that everything on the island and that surrounds it had a soul. And that is where my story begins. My mother grew up on the coast of island. I grew up in the mountainside. Every summer, I'll go to visit my grandparents with my brother. My brother was 2 years younger than me. My grandmother was a diver, which meant that she knew how to swim. And my aunt and my mom also knew how to swim, not for me and my brother. So this summer, one day, my brother went to the ocean and he fell off the edge and he almost drowned. And my aunt couldn't save him because she was doing something else. And somehow he was saved by a village man. And that night, my grandmother was so angry at my aunt that she didn't pay attention to my brother. Next day, my grandmother brought my brother to the same place, and she would do something that she is used to doing, which is the ritual of calling the gods to bring the soul back. So this is the ritual. When they go fishing, there is a ritual of wishing for the safety return, and there is a shaman who plays the dance and the songs to make sure that they can be protected, and that's my grandmother. And she brought my brother to that place that he was almost drowned, and every morning she will recite, "Soul, come back to the body," because she believed the soul have left somehow for the brief moment when he was drowning. And she did that for probably about 2 weeks until she felt that the soul was fully returned to the body. And this story is not a strange story to me because everybody in the village believed that there is a power beyond us that controls our mind and body and also the soul. So I would like to invite you to close your eyes. And as you take that intentional action, relax your shoulder and slowly breathe in, breathe out. And I will invite you to take a walk with me. Remember the island, hear the wave. We will all go on walk along the shoreline. And there is a pine forest. You smell the ocean mixed with the pine leaves. You feel the wind on your face. The sun feels warm. As you walk into that forest and walk inside it, it actually leads you to an opening at the end. There, you hear the wind speaking to you. It says, "Open your eyes. We are at your soul garden." Now you can open your eyes. So now you were entering into your soul garden where it departed from your body, not in a dangerous way that my brother had gone through, but you actually walked through the shoreline, enter into a forest. And in that moment, you saw your soul garden. I would like you to take your paper. And for the next 5 minutes, I would like you to draw a garden. Draw a garden that your soul will visit when it's happy, when it's sad, when it's tired, when it's energized. I would also like you to draw a garden that your soul will live. And maybe it's a place where your soul will invite someone special. So I'll give 5 minutes. Don't worry about the shapes, whatever your hands lead. Whatever the shapes comes out. You will put the reasons later. You have 2 more minutes. One more minute. Okay. So now you have completed your soul garden, at least began to. Nisha is going to be the same person. The group is not going to be different because they got to create something together. So the same group that you were in before will be in this group again. In that group, you will share your garden with your partner. And as a person who is listening, you would like to know why the other person created the garden the way that they did, or she or he did. So as you listen, you probably want to think about why. what was important to that person. And you might want to jot it down, ask that question when the person finishes his or her story. So you have, if you are paired, it will be 4 minutes each. How you want to spend the time, that's up to you. At 8 minutes, you're going to come back. But you should know each other's garden, not just your garden. Okay? So you will share your drawing and you will explain each component of your garden, and then let your partner to ask your question and share whatever the thought behind it is. So Nisha, can you put back people into the same group for 8 minutes?
Yes, I can do that. All right.
All right, welcome back. So how was that? I would like to just invite everybody to just type into the chat, what did you find surprising from the conversations you had, or the drawings you saw, the elements of the things that you saw? Interesting. Trust. Can you also type in some of the things that you saw in your partner's garden? I'm sure you know what you have noticed, but from your partner's garden, snow, ketchup. Embodied wisdom. Wow, how do you see that in the soul garden? Sunflowers. Yeah. Umbrella. Mosquitoes. Mosquitoes in your soul garden. I would love to know the background story of that one. But now I would like to go back to I agree, Sebastian. We are so weird, and that is great. Okay. So we learned about some things just by looking at what they choose, what your partner choose to share in their soul garden. Wasn't that interesting? But also we had to be curious enough to learn, not to just share our garden, but this one was about learning about your partner's garden. Hopefully you found something interesting. Now we are going to use the skill that we have gathered in the beginning of the session, the improv drawing, remember? So we're going to go back into the same room, but this time you're going to have 5 minutes and you will work with your partner to create a soul garden that 2 souls, or maybe you have 3 in your room, will enjoy. When you start your improv story, you are actually going to start with your partner's preference. So if my partner said, I have a lot of mosquitoes, and there was a reason why there were mosquitoes, you probably want to start with our soul garden that our souls will live, will have a water pool so that we can breed mosquitoes, whatever, right? So it shows that you listen to your partner and you're creating something not for yourself, but for your partner, her or his soul, to live in this communal soul garden. And you will draw while you're talking. So at the end, when you are done, you will share your drawings with each other and then see how your communal garden that you have created together will look in each other's eyes. But you're not going to share the drawing until you're done with the story. So now we're going to go back into the breakout room for 5 minutes, and you'll work with your partner or partners to create a soul garden that you will start with improv drawing. But remember, your story has to do with your partner's need. Okay? 5 minutes. All right. So in my session, we were abruptly brought back into this. So we weren't able to share everything, but maybe everybody can just hold the collective soul garden to see it. Oh, lots of trees. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. So how does this one relate to design thinking? I hope you recognize that the core of design thinking or human-centered design is empathy. And sometimes empathy comes through stories that we know the lives that we had. But sometimes going into something that we don't see, such as soul, could also lead us into looking into our partners' lives, strangers' lives, but it also comes with curiosity. And when we create something together, we are often putting our messaging, but it's actually more beautiful and fun if you think about your partner's need and why, the stories behind it. Because the open door is not just an open door when you know the story behind it. The fountain is not just a fountain when you know the story behind it. The waterfall is not just a waterfall when you know the story behind it. So today's session was designed so that we can at least go deep within ourselves, but also open our mind and eyes into the curiosity, and then actually discover something a lot more amazing than when we just focus on ourselves. So with that, I would like to conclude Soul Garden, and everybody's Soul Garden was amazing. If there's a way for us to collect all the Soul Gardens, that will be amazing too. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Yay.
Thank you. This was great. I hope you all had a really great time. I know we have 2 minutes, but if anyone has any like quick question for Lee while she's here, like feel free to ask it. And yeah, thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you, Naisha. I'm going to drop a few links in the chat as folks are saying thank you. So, so that you know where the materials are going to be and how to join us for our next DT breakfast.
This was fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Fun,
being
and
so
then-
kind.
Merci. Merci beaucoup.
Au revoir.
Bye. Thanks, Lee.
Bye.
Thank you. This was super fun. Really.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Thanks for the great session, Lee. Bye bye. See you next time.